Escape. Escape is one of those ideas and things that, depending on what the conversation is, could have an entirely different meaning to different people. But what I mean in escape for this video is the act of leaving reality as it is to engulf oneself into something else. In today's day and age, escapism is something that is in a way frowned upon because of how it takes people from reality and in many cases does not let them come back. And it is done in many, many ways, whether it's drugs, alcohol, fandom, but all these things tend to gravitate around media. And media escapism is something that not only is business, but is huge business in the year 2023. In this modern era, to be able to escape is as easy as turning your phone on, turning your TV on, as simple as turning on a game console or a PC. Though this isn't a new thing, escapism is probably one of the few things that is universal in humanity, where the human condition provides love and suffering. With that comes escapism. And we've done it for years, but one of the most historical ways we have done this is through story. Humans live lives through stories, through narratives, through things that we can explain and tell to other people. It is how we evolved to where we are today. And because of this, we have really taken to it, whether it is internet drama, sports story, all of these things surround the idea that though these are ideas, these are transactions, these are actions that are, for the most part, pretty individual themselves. Certain individuals making decisions for themselves, a sports team winning, etc. But we add these narratives and ideas and stories because it helps us relay that information to not only other people, but for us to relate to them ourselves. And this leads me to probably one of the most historic companies when it comes to storytelling, and that is the WWE. Recently, professional wrestler Wyndham Rotunda, popularly known as Bray Wyatt, had passed away. And he is known in the wrestling industry as someone who was truly innovative and creative in a medium that matches the physical with storytelling. He was able to do it in such a way that captivated millions of people. And his loss has already been felt in major ways. However, what's interesting about his death, outside of it being very shocking with his young age, is that it takes those people who was into the programming out of the escapism. With wrestling and many other things, even when you know what's behind the curtain, when you know certain actors are in a contract dispute, when you know certain players are looking to be traded, whenever you see these things, it still is part of the performance. It's still part of the story. Though it is not on the court or is not on the silver screen or in WWE's case, not in the wrestling ring, we still hold on to these things. And it is a narrative that is told. However, when something like this happens, when a young man passes away and leaves his family here, and so many fans yearning for more, it takes you out of the escapism and it puts you right back into reality. The reality is that we don't know the future. And not only do we not know the future, we as a species are too keen to take things for granted. I and a group of my friends saw one of the, if not the last wrestling match Bray Wyatt ever competed in. And at the time, we didn't take the time to really appreciate what we saw. We picked at it and talked about it as we would any other wrestling match because, you know, that's what you do as a fan. You look at things and you pick it apart because you want it to be great. And not everything can be great, but you want it to be. And we, in a way, delude ourselves into thinking that we have enough opinion, thought, or foresight to maybe pass judgment on those things as they are. However, looking back now, I see that that was a folly on my part. I'm now very thankful that I got to see the match because though if someone told me in that arena right then that, hey, Bray Wyatt could die tomorrow, I would have laughed it off and I would have made some type of coy joke and walked back out into the arena and continue to watch the Royal Rumble. However, this was the wrong way of thinking. Again, now looking back, hindsight is 2020. I understand that, and no one would beat themselves up. Truthfully, people die every day, and the thing is, we actually understand that, and that's how the escapism is destroyed. Because not only do people die every day, people like Bray Wyatt die every day. People like Kobe Bryant die every day. People like Michael Jackson die every day. And when you realize that those people that we hold in high regard, the stars, the people that everyone knows are really only immortal in memory, is when we realize not only that our escapism is futile, but that those are the real reason we tell stories. Because the point that I will be able to give someone younger who did not experience Bray Wyatt an idea, a tale to see him in. Even with video, there will always be a narrative. He was his character. He was himself. He was a family man. He was a son. He was a lot of things to a lot of different people. And for me, he was an entertainer. With all that being said, I'm not against escapism. I am totally someone who likes to be able to crack open a cold beer and get really driven into a narrative because for me, I at least try to look at stories as a way to deepen myself and my perspective, to see other people's ideas and things. And this is what really bothers me about the whole situation. When I heard about Bray Wyatt passing away, for the first hour or so, I was simply tackling with the idea that I'll never be able to see this great wrestler again. And even a little bit about, the unfortunate loss of a father and a husband. But it also took me back to places that I forgot about. And I won't maybe even say forget. It's just things that I try not to think about. And one of those bigger things is the death of an older classmate I had when I was in junior high named Salvador Renteria. Now, I know this probably won't mean much to anyone, even those on my Facebook feed, but the way he passed away and how young he was always stuck with me. It stuck with me even when I was 13 years old, understanding that we hadn't even got to high school yet we had lost someone, but it was the grisly nature of it. And I won't say all of it here. I won't go into the gory details, but just know that it wasn't natural. And what was unfortunate about it to this day is that the older I get, the more hurt I am about his death. And it was something that I never came to grips with. I'm not coming to grips with it today. I have lived my life always getting memories about him. And he wasn't my best friend. Like, me and him weren't enemies by any means, but me and him didn't hang out after school. We talked to each other at school, played on the same football team, things of that nature. But for some reason, almost 20 years later, it still hurts me. And every year it hurts me more. And now, with the death of Bray Wyatt, I fear that it will be the same for him as well in a way. And for every person that we lost too young, who honestly didn't bring it upon themselves or didn't live a raucous lifestyle, who didn't do the proverbial shine bright and extinguished early. These are the things that allow for escapism to make sense, because for every moment that I have to be in my reality to know that these horrible things are permitted to happen, maybe it's only fair that I'm able to watch a story that it doesn't.